What's up, guys? Today on People Now, all the latest on the Notre Dame fire, what major artifacts were saved, and who is pledging millions to help rebuild the cathedral. Wendy Williams confronted her husband about allegedly having a baby with his mistress before she filed for divorce. We break it down. Hoda Kotb adopts another daughter. See the adorable announcement. Kit Harington reveals he was in a bit of pain while filming the dragon scenes on Game of Thrones. You're going to want to hear this one. Plus, Andy Grammer is here talking about his new music, and he gets pretty deep.
What do you think happens when we die?
It's all today on People Now. Let's go. Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to People Now. So poor Jeremy is home sick today. Seems like everyone is catching those springtime colds. It's the worst time to get sick, in my opinion. Make sure to wash your hands. On a more positive note, another thing that springtime will bring is the birth of the royal baby. We are anxiously awaiting Prince Harry and Meghan's first royal tot. So today we're asking when you think the due date will be in our People poll. Will it be within the next week? Will it be by the end of April or maybe sometime in May? Just saying, my birthday's May 10th. It's a really good day to be born. Vote in our People poll or just tweet us your answer with the hashtag #PeopleNow. We'll check in on the results in a bit and reveal the big clue that Prince Charles and Camilla just gave us on the royal baby's arrival. But for now, here's what you need to know and what's trending today. Starting with this. Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris, France has been saved and preserved following a massive fire that set the 850-year-old church ablaze on Monday. Firefighters worked tirelessly to put out the fire after alarms were triggered. France 24 says the fire erupted around 6:30 p.m. local time, consuming the landmark's roof and the building's iconic spire. Local network BFM TV reported that the fire was possibly linked to renovations going on at the time and began in the rafters. However, there were no workers scheduled to be on the rooftop at the time. A spokesperson for the cathedral originally told the BBC that there will be nothing left of the cathedral following the fire, but according to a tweet from a French news agency, the official has since confirmed that the main structure of the building is okay. French President Emmanuel Macron promised the cathedral will be rebuilt, saying, "It is with pride I tell you tonight, we will rebuild this cathedral. We will rebuild Notre Dame because it is what the French expect of us. It is what our history deserves. It is, in the deepest sense, our destiny." The fire really devastated the residents of France. Take a look at this.
At a certain point, we saw the roof crawl down, and soon later, the spire started bending and crawling, and big smoke and flames, and people couldn't believe it. We could not just believe what we were seeing.
As the landmark burned, pedestrians flooded the streets to watch the cathedral up in flames, many with tears in their eyes. A crowd even gathered to sing in the streets near the cathedral to show their support and grief. Really powerful video there. Now, others took to Twitter to express their devastation. One user wrote, "Notre Dame Paris is on fire and it feels like the end of the world." President Trump even weighed in with a suggestion for putting out the fire, writing, "So horrible to watch the massive fire at Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris. Perhaps flying water tankers could be used to put it out. Must act quickly." Another person tweeted, "My heart is broken for France. Years of history lost like that. Nothing but prayers." But not all of the history was lost. In just a bit, we're breaking down all the historic treasures that were saved. But first, some news in the efforts to rebuild. Salma Hayek's husband, François-Henri Pinault, has pledged more than $100 million to help rebuild the Notre Dame Cathedral after Monday's fire. In an official statement obtained by a French newspaper, Pinault said, quote, "My father and myself have decided to release a sum of 100 million euros from our Artemis funds to participate in the effort that will be necessary for the complete reconstruction of Notre Dame." The statement refers to his family's holding company, Artemis Funds. His donation is the first major contribution announced. On Tuesday, the LVMH Group, who owns brands such as Louis Vuitton, Christian Dior, and Givenchy, promised a donation of 200 million euros, as well as making their creative and financial teams available to rebuild. French cosmetic company L'Oreal will also donate 200 million in restoration efforts. Paris' City Hall added 200 million as well. Approximately 601 million euros has been donated so far. That's 679 million in US dollars. Very incredible. The fire erupted around 6:30 p.m. Paris time. The building's towering spire fell. Portions of the roof collapsed. It took nearly 9 hours to put out the flames. No one was killed. However, 2 police officers and 1 firefighter were injured. One Paris resident told People that pedestrians crowded the streets to watch the fire, many in tears. On Monday evening, a crowd gathered near the cathedral to sing Ave Maria. A Paris fire official announced the fire had been contained and that the structure will be saved and preserved. While no one was killed in the fire, people around the world are wondering the fate of the treasures and artifacts that lived in the historic cathedral. Experts are currently entering the now wrecked cathedral to find what's been saved. The mayor of Paris, Anne Hidalgo, reported that one of the most irreplaceable items, the crown of thorns that Jesus wore at his crucifixion, had been saved. And many fear that Notre Dame's 13th century stained glass windows and historic organ have gone. Many people, including firefighters, police officers, and churchmen, risked their lives to carry out and preserve as many artifacts and religious relics as flames erupted at Notre Dame Monday evening. Really remarkable how much they were able to save considering the intensity of the fire. There are some pieces, however, whose fate at this time is unknown, such as the 14th century life-size statue of the Virgin Mary and baby Jesus and the statue of St. Denis holding its head. The mayor of Paris tweeted her thanks and praise to the first responders for saving irreplaceable artifacts and relics. She reiterated that the crown of thorns, the tunic of St. Louis, and several other major works are now in a safe place. It's been reported that artifacts and religious relics that have been saved are being sent to the Louvre and Paris City Hall for safekeeping. Notre Dame Cathedral was built in the 12th and 13th centuries. It is visited by nearly 13 million people a year, making it one of the most visited landmarks worldwide. French President Emmanuel Macron vowed to rebuild and restore the cathedral because it's what the French expect. All right, moving on to this. With just days to go before Meghan Markle and Prince Harry welcome their first child, Prince Charles and Camilla may have just helped us narrow down Meghan's due date. We are tracking along here. The royal couple announced on Monday that they will visit Germany on May 7th for a 3-day tour. Since Charles and Camilla are expected to be nearby when Meghan and Harry's baby is born, it can be assumed that baby Sussex will be born prior to that May 7th trip. And these veteran parents couldn't be happier for their newest royal grandchild. During Camilla's historic visit to Cuba with Prince Charles last month, she was heard telling an American fan who asked if she was excited about baby Sussex. She said, "Yes, very much so." And just one day after Meghan's pregnancy news broke, Charles was spotted on a whiskey distillery tour in Scotland, where he said he toasted to the happy news several times. Meghan and Harry announced that they are keeping the plans around the arrival of their baby private, which means royal fans should not expect Meghan to pose on the steps of a hospital like Kate Middleton did after the birth of each of her 3 children. The palace will, however, announce when she is in labor, and royal fans will get to see the happy couple in a photo with their new baby soon after the birth. A photo op is planned to take place on the grounds of Windsor Castle within a few days of the birth. All right, a source tells People that Wendy Williams confronted her husband and longtime manager Kevin Hunter about having a baby with his mistress before she filed for divorce. The source says Williams hired a private investigator that confronted him about cheating. Now, according to that source, Hunter confessed to everything 3 weeks ago. Williams officially filed for divorce last week, ending more than 2 decades of marriage. The couple also shares 19-year-old son Kevin Jr. The source adds, all of the recent drama put a huge strain on Wendy and caused her to struggle with her sobriety as she did everything she could to try and save their marriage. The split was ultimately a result of Williams' decision to finally put herself first to regain her health. We'll have even more on Wendy's decision to file for divorce and what Hunter has said about the split a little later in the show. Be sure to stick around for that. All right, get ready for this one. Kit Harington reveals that his right testicle got injured while filming that epic dragon riding scene in the season 8 opener of Game of Thrones. While the scene was something fans have hoped for and looked forward to for so long, Harington revealed in a behind-the-scenes video from HBO that it was pretty uncomfortable for him to shoot his character Jon Snow riding the dragon. Harington had to sit on an electric buck that worked a lot like a mechanical bull, throwing him around, but it had Harington fearing the worst. In the BTS video, he reveals that while he was being violently thrown around, his right testicle got trapped. He didn't have time to say stop. He added, quote, "In my head, I thought, this is how it ends, on this buck swinging me round by my testicles, literally." A very unfortunate injury for Jon Snow, but at least it was worth it for the fans as the season premiere shattered rating records with 17.4 million viewers Monday night. This made it the biggest telecast in HBO's history and the most watched scripted entertainment program of the year so far. But, of course, not everyone was happy, with some critics complaining about the first episode, and Kit Harington had a message for them. More on that later in the show. All right, stay with us. Hoda Kotb has got some bouncing baby news. We've got all the details and the first pick, plus the new merch that's a must-have for all you Game of Thrones superfans. And Jon Snow himself is speaking out against all the Season 8 haters. It's coming up in just a bit.
Hoda, are you there?
Oh, I'm here. Hi, guys.
Do you have something to tell us?
Yes, I do. It's a girl. It's a girl.
so cute. Hoda Kotb has adopted a second child. Hoda announced the exciting news about her new baby girl named Hope Catherine during a phone interview Tuesday morning on the Today Show. The show's Instagram posted the announcement shortly afterwards with this sweet picture of Hoda and Hope posing next to her first adopted daughter, Haley Joy. Here to chat about Hoda's big news are People senior TV editor Brianne Heldman and People writer Dave Quinn. Hi guys, thanks for joining me.
Hi, this is so sweet.
I know. What were your initial reactions to this news?
I was so happy. I mean, Hoda is one of those people you absolutely wish nothing but happiness for. She's such a delightful human. And when she gets these great moments and this great news, it's hard to not feel the joy too.
Yeah, I completely teared up at my desk, I have to admit. I'm a huge softie. I had noticed that Hoda was gone from the show for a couple of weeks, and I thought that maybe she just wasn't feeling well. And for this to be another surprise adoption is just so sweet. I'm really excited.
And so she actually teased the new edition in an Instagram picture on Monday. I don't know if you guys saw this. Posted a picture of some dreamy clouds with text that said hope. Now fans, I think a lot of fans didn't know this, but she was actually teasing the baby.
Yeah.
Did you see the post?
Yes, she went full Taylor Swift on us with the teases and the ethereal look.
Did you think anything when you saw the post, or you just thought it was just some weird?
It was a little out of character, but it was still,
I just
on
figured it
brand.
was like someone else posting like Instagram quotes. Like, all right, okay, inspirational. But like, Hoda is so grounded and so wonderful, and I'm really excited to see her have now, 2 children at home. It's
I know,
amazing.
and her fellow Today Show anchors showed a lot of love for baby number 2. They were getting very emotional. Do we think that the co-hosts knew for a while, or you think this was a surprise to them?
For sure they knew.
They knew?
I don't know. I think that some of them were a little thrown off. I don't think that she told everyone, because I feel like, she's got to make sure the news doesn't get out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but her absence was felt.
That's true.
There was also other big news happening at the Today Show that it was easy to just talk about Kathy Lee Gifford's departure and
she's able to like kind of slide it in.
Yeah.
Do you think Savannah Guthrie will take over some auntie duties there?
Oh,
for
100%.
sure.
Savannah and Hoda are so close, and Savannah's already been like really supportive and wonderful with Haley, so I think it's going to be exciting.
gonna be adorable.
To see.
Yeah, and Savannah led the interview and asked Hoda about how her first adopted child, Haley Joy, is doing with her little sister. So let's take a look at this.
Hoda, how's little Haley liking having a little sis? How's she doing? She helping?
Haley's digging it this morning at breakfast. She was trying to feed her, her raspberries, and I was like, not yet, babe. She was literally marching around saying, I'm a big sister.
Looks like Haley Joy fully embracing her new role as big sister. Do we think that the common new baby in the house jealousy may kick in? Did you guys ever have that?
100% I had it. Oh, yes. I am the queen always and forever.
Wait, really? Was it younger sisters that came?
Younger brother.
Okay.
And then I made him my slave, and it worked out great.
Oh my God.
But he is my best friend now. And he
Okay.
just came in for my birthday, so I love having siblings. I'm excited for Haley to get this opportunity.
I am the youngest, so I am completely on Hope's side here.
Yeah.
She is going to have a very easy time as far as I'm concerned.
I'm the
having
oldest.
Big siblings
Yeah,
is
I'm the
best.
oldest, and there were 3 to come after me. And I think I was always excited about a new little addition, a new little friend. I never had any of the jealousy stuff.
Well, it seems like Haley Joy is really excited as well. I mean, feeding raspberries, how sweet is
so
that?
I know.
That's so
Now,
cute.
a little backstory. Hoda first became a first-time mama in 2017 when she adopted Haley Joy with her partner Joel Schiffman. I mean, that was very excited. Have you seen Haley Joy make appearances on the Today Show Plaza? Have you seen when that happens? It's so adorable.
I
It's so
haven't.
cute. Yeah.
Oh my God, I've totally
Yeah,
missed
really
that.
cute. And she's really talked about how adopting a child kind of changes your life. On World Adoption Day in 2018, she spoke to the Today Show. This is her quote: "I feel like if you're meant to have a child in your life, your child is out there. They said to me at the adoption agency, don't worry, your child is out there waiting for you. And I remember I would scribble in my journal, I know you're there. I could feel her." That kind of gives me chills
That,
because I
like,
think
yes.
it's so sweet. What is your take on that?
That absolutely, I just got shiver up my spine. And of course, Hoda had breast cancer in 2007 and in that process found out that she was no longer going to be able to conceive children.
Yeah.
And she said in an interview with People in 2017 when she adopted Haley that she didn't think she was ever going to be able to have a baby and be a mom. And so this is doubly exciting. because now she's a mom of 2.
Yeah, and it's also really sweet because she talked about on the Today Show about how her and Joel really like reveled in that moment of holding their daughter for the first time, and how that really brought them closer together and made them realize, you know, that they're kind of expanding their family for the first time with Haley Joe. So to be doing it again, it's just, oh, it's so sweet.
So what do we think? Is she gonna stop here? Is she gonna just adopt a bunch more babies?
I think we got one more.
You think one more?
I do.
I think it's Hoda, and she's got a good head on her shoulders, and she's thinking one baby at a time.
Okay, you're not gonna get too carried away. Well, congrats to Hoda Kotb and her beautiful new addition, Hope Catherine, which is a really adorable name, by the way.
I know, it's super sweet. And you know what? She's also been so supportive of Andy Cohen.
Yes.
They've been really close with his, you know, new addition in his family. So it's just like everyone's having babies over there at NBC.
Maybe a play date coming up. I think that could be really cute.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, from Today Show babies to royal babies, we're going to take a look at our People poll. We've been asking when you think Meghan Markle's due date is. Let's check in on the results so far. Because, you know, a bunch of people on the internet, we can predict when a baby's going to be born. End of April. Okay, so people are kind of in the middle there. What do you guys think?
I'm the end of April. I'm April 26th.
Oh, nice.
So also a Taurus. I think a Taurus is a great
It's great.
sign.
We're very
we're
even keeled.
Yes, we're sturdy,
crazy.
we're strong, we're a little stubborn. I think we're perfect.
Everyone's a little stubborn, though. What is your prediction?
I also think end of April. I think that Prince Charles going on that trip May 7th is pretty telling.
Yes, I think so too. All right, keep voting in our People poll. All right, let's move on to this little different subject here. According to a source, Wendy Williams confronted her husband and longtime manager Kevin Hunter about having a baby with his mistress before she filed for divorce. This was pretty shocking to hear this news. The source says, quote, Wendy had hired a private investigator and confronted him. He confessed to everything 3 weeks ago. So Dave, talk to me about this. How big of a surprise was this?
I think it was a total surprise. I mean, viewers of the Wendy Williams show never really saw this coming because she never addressed any of the things that were really happening behind the scenes in her own marriage. There had been rumors floating around for years, but she had basically just seemed to put them in the past. Now, it's not the first time that this has happened in her marriage. She wrote in her book about the fact that this had happened before. But I think the key here really is the fact that, you know, she waited until she had the proof. She confronted him, according to our source, 3 weeks ago, and felt that now was the time to make the move. And the audience is really there supporting her.
Yeah, how shocked were you, Brianne, when you heard about this?
I was floored. I mean, she actually said very recently that there was no world in which they were splitting.
Yeah.
So she really believed that. She really was going to fight for that marriage, and
yeah, so she ended 2 decades of marriage. That was the most surprising thing, because you put in 2 decades and you think that you're going to maybe hold on. Now, the pair got married in November of 1997. They have a son, which you mentioned, Kevin Jr. He's 19. Brianne, you know, we know she'd been struggling with her sobriety, and she was, you know, talked about being in a sober house. How is she handling everything right now?
well, I mean, she is continuing to struggle as one does, and hopefully, we wish her the best. Hopefully she's continuing to fight the good fight there.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying that this is kind of an effort to put herself and her health first.
Yes.
And I think that it was kind of a long time coming. Yeah. And I think for both of them, they'll be able to move on and have their own lives and hopefully be able to co-parent as well.
Well, I'm 6 years sober, and I just want to say, as somebody who's gone through this journey before, it's not always a very clear path. There are some times that you have stumbles, and the fact that she took the time to put herself in a sober house and really work through that, I think is pretty strong.
Yeah, talk to me a little bit about how, you know, she is living in a sober house. Do you think that she will now continue to stay in the sober house, or what's going to go on with that?
Well, I think, didn't she say that she's looking to kind of move out soon, right?
Yes.
And be with her son. So this is now a good time, especially if the chaos of her marriage is something that was kind of driving her to perhaps deal with some of, you know, to tap into some of her alcohol issues or her drug issues, that this is something that could possibly be helpful now that that's kind of moved past.
Yeah. Well, Kevin Hunter had been pretty quiet through a lot of this. He opened up for the first time about the incident to E! News. So this is what he said. 28 years ago, I met an amazing woman, Wendy Williams. At the time, I didn't realize she would not only become my wife, but would also change the face of the entertainment and world. I dedicated most of our lives to the business empire that is Wendy Williams Hunter, a person that I truly love and respect unconditionally. So very nice statement there. He then addressed reports of his alleged infidelity. This is what he said. I'm not proud of my recent actions and take full accountability and apologize to my wife, my family, and her amazing fans. I'm going through a time of self-reflection, and I'm trying to right some wrongs. So what do you make of that statement?
Well, it was a long time coming, getting that statement at all. I was thrilled that he finally spoke out, and there is some accountability happening in that statement. He is owning that he's made mistakes. But the mistakes are pretty serious, and I don't know that I think it was enough.
Yeah, I mean, I appreciated that he talked about the fact that he was going to support her sobriety journey and even mentioned that he had some issues of his own that he needed to work through. I appreciated that he said that he was going to work to right the wrongs. It's not just what he's done to her. He has a child. They have a family, right? So this is a whole unit that they need to kind of work through. And he's also very integral to life at the Wendy Williams show.
Yeah.
He's a producer there. And I think that that is a work experience that also needs to be worked through in a little bit.
Yeah, and you know, this alleged affair is not the first. He cheated on Williams, and she wrote about that in her book, was very open about it. It's a really painful period in her life. And she spoke out in 2013 saying that that had made the marriage stronger. But do we think that's true, or is it kind of already beyond repair at that point? I don't know if you can fully recover from someone cheating on you.
I don't either.
I haven't experienced it myself. I do feel like I have to be open in relationships to find forgiveness, and you have to prepare yourself. If you want to be loved, you want somebody to love you back, even if you make a mistake. But it does seem that they're at the end of the road. They've been together for 28 years. It's a really long time. And to get to the point where you're filing for divorce, it seems like she put up with a lot to get there.
Yeah, definitely. Well, People was unable to reach Hunter and his alleged mistress for comment, and a rep for Williams could not be reached for comment as well. Either way, obviously, I love Wendy. I know you guys love Wendy, and we wish her the best through all of this. It's a lot to go through.
Yeah, how you doing, Wendy?
Yeah, I want to see her like back in action and like recover from all of it.
I mean, I actually find it kind of empowering when anyone, a woman especially, says, "This is my life. There are things that are wrong, and I'm going to take action. I'm going to step forward and move forward and try to find that peace that is not existing in my world today."
Absolutely.
And I think it will change the way she interacts with her guests and perhaps the way she kind of reports on things, because just today we saw that she was speaking with Christy Brinkley, and Christy Brinkley mentioned on the show, like, listen, I have a divorce attorney if you need it, and we've been through some stuff before.
I don't know how she hosts the show going through all of this.
No.
It's quite impressive. So props to her, and we wish her the best. We'll keep you guys posted on everything. All right, let's talk some Game of Thrones. You ready?
Yes, let's.
First episode of Game of Thrones, Season 8, shattered records. But you can't please everyone, right? Some critics were not happy with the episode. As we earlier teased in the show, Kit Harington had some harsh words for them. While speaking with Esquire in a Q&A published April 15th, the actor said, quote, "I don't mean to sound mean about critics here, but whatever critic spends half an hour writing about this season and makes their negative judgment on it, in my head, they can go bleep themselves." First off, Ryan, you're a huge Game of Thrones super fan, right? Were you disappointed by the premiere, or were you happy with it?
Loved the premiere. Look, I was expecting the show to come back, all guns blazing, nonstop action. We've got 6 episodes. It's going to be nothing but death and blood and fighting. And it was a quiet 50-minute premiere filled with moments that we forgot we were even desperate to see. All of these great reunions. You had Arya and Jon Snow. You had Bran, and it was amazing. It was an incredible episode.
Yeah, critics were saying that it was slow. Did you feel like there was anything that could have been changed, or you're completely happy with it?
I'm completely happy with it. Look, there were funny moments. You don't expect that from Game of Thrones. They were like, oh, we're going to bring the comedy here. I do think this is the calm before the storm. We have 6 episodes. This is the quiet one, and the rest are going to be so full of whiz bang.
Yeah, I also think after being off for so long, you need a reminder of what's going on.
Right.
So to have a super dramatic first episode and many people dying, I think would be a little overkill.
I also think that he has every right to say, like, listen, if you don't like it, get out of here, because we've been working really hard on this. It's the final season. At this point, like, there's 8 episodes. Just enjoy it, you know?
Yeah.
And I think he has every right to do it at this stage. If he was acting that way at the end of season 1, I may be like, all right, buddy, cool your jets. But, like, it's an established hit. Everybody's going to love watching the end of it.
I agree with you. I feel like Kit Harington also should not be paying attention to critics, right?
Right.
This very successful show, super successful actor, I think don't pay them any mind. But it's got to be hard.
Other things to worry about.
Yeah, he does. He went on to say that he knows there's a lot of pressure on them to do a really good job, a lot of sleepless nights, to work hard. This was his quote. "Now, if people feel let down by it, I don't give a bleep because everyone tried their hardest." It seems like it does kind of bother him, though, that he keeps saying this, right?
Yeah, well, maybe he's having like flashbacks to what happened with the end of Lost and people still being outraged about it. He doesn't want that to happen for Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I don't think it will. I went back and rewatched the first 2 episodes and was so blown away by how much was reflected back in this first episode. There's so much forethought that's happened in this show. They're not going to do us wrong, I'm convinced.
And even if they do, isn't there like 55 more books on the way? You know what I mean?
Oh,
like the
yeah.
story of Game of Thrones will continue. There are prequel series on the way.
Yes.
Like you will have plenty of Game of Thrones to keep you happy. So if this isn't working for you, don't worry, you'll be okay.
The thing is they put so much work into this and these intense scenes. We were talking earlier in the show about Kit getting injured and hurting his testicles.
Yeah.
Which I never thought I would talk about on online, but it's fine. What was your reactions to that? And I mean, I've rode a mechanical bull. It's really painful as a woman.
Yeah, I mean, same. And I've thought, oh wow, I don't know how men do this.
I know.
I have never done that, and I now
You
never
have to
will.
ride mechanical bull or dragon, whatever you have available.
I think we're done.
But it really does show how much work and pain goes into this show. Brianne, talk to me about the shooting schedule and everything.
Well, it was an insanely arduous shooting schedule that lasted months for only 6 episodes. They spent $90 million on 6 episodes of television.
Wow.
That is unheard of. But you have to also remember that these hours of television are an hour and 20 minutes. They're little mini movies. This, again, was the quiet little warm-up act, and we've got 5 movies ahead of us.
Yeah, he also added that by the end of it, they were kind of doing it for themselves, saying the cast and crew are ultimately the biggest fans of the show. It kind of begs the question, you know, who is art for? Is it, if you do put a lot of work into it and you're proud of it, but the critics hate it, was it still a win?
Well, it's certainly not for the critics. Let's be honest. In all forms of art, it is not for the critics. It is for the artists, and it is for those who are appreciating it. So I agree with Kit's comment because they made this for the fans. They didn't make it for critics. Who cares what the critics think?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, you got to do it for the fans at this point. And I think the shows that have been smart over the years that have really said, listen, we're not going to worry about what everyone is saying. We're really going to focus on what we know the fans want, have succeeded and lasted longer and longer because of that.
Yeah, we have some more fun Game of Thrones things. If you ever wanted to relive one of the most satisfying moments in Game of Thrones history, you can do that by buying a bleeding Joffrey candle on Firebox. So Game of Thrones fans' dream. It's a nod to the way King Joffrey died on the show. Sorry, spoiler. But if you haven't watched Game of Thrones by now, I don't know what you're doing.
Okay,
yeah. So once lit, the candle leaks red hot wax out of the eyes and nose. Brian, is this bringing back happy memories, sad memories?
This gives me so much joy. This is so funny. Of course it brings happy memories. Joffrey's death was fantastic.
And he was kind of the worst, honestly.
The worst. But I think this is also part of why people love being a fan of things like Game of Thrones, not even just Game of Thrones, is because you get really fun, silly memorabilia like this that make you smile.
Yeah, and Firebox says that they're selling the exclusive new product to celebrate the dramatic demise of a sneering little brat, which he kind of was a little brat.
Great.
Yeah, and kind of relive
really
that
was.
satisfying moment. What's your take on this, Dave?
It's totally hilarious. And it makes me think of all the other things that we could want. Like I want a teapot shaped like Nene Leakes that has steam coming out of the ears. Like,
Why does that not exist?
Yeah, give me things that like fit within the fandom
Dave,
of shows.
let's
Let's
Brian,
make the
are
money.
there other deaths on Game of Thrones that you'd want to have as some sort of memorabilia?
Ooh.
A red wedding cake, for
Yeah.
example.
Oh, a red wedding cake. That's really dark, Dave. It's really dark. I don't know. I mean, there are very rarely are the deaths so full of joy.
Yeah.
I think there will be some deaths that I am looking forward to on this.
I mean, I would imagine a lot of people are going to die on this season. I mean, a lot of fans are coming out hard against Cersei, hoping for her demise.
Yes,
Would you want to
please.
see? Really?
Yes, please.
Cersei's one of my favorite characters.
No,
I love her.
but her death, if done right, will be so epic and so amazing. We'll have everyone talking. She's a wonderful, wonderful villain. Lena Headey's a delightful human.
Yeah.
It will be so much fun.
I feel like it's one of the only.
villain.
Yeah, no, I love Cersei. I feel like it's one of the only shows that we can actually talk about the death in a great way. We're like, oh, I can't wait to see how they die. But you do, like, you want this really honorable, cool death. I think it's just really, really funny. In case this piece of merch isn't enough to satisfy you, they're also selling a few other things here. There is the Dragon Tears whiskey to drink your Game of Thrones sorrows away. I kind of like that because with all the deaths going on and your favorite characters dying seems like a good thing to have while you're kind of mourning. Would you be into the Dragon Tears whiskey?
100%. This apparently has like some cinnamon in it, so there's some fire along with that.
As a super fan, what do you do when you watch Game of Thrones? Do you have some drinks? Or you?
Well, I've got my Game of Thrones wine and my Game of Thrones beer, my Game of Thrones Johnny Walker, and then no, I don't. I just sit
She
there
was
and
drinking
enjoy.
out of a Game of Thrones mug backstage.
Yeah,
Don't act like you are not that normal.
I drink and I know things.
Yeah.
Now, Dave, obviously we were talking before, you're sober, but what do you do when you watch your favorite TV or Game of Thrones?
Well, I love a theme party. I love a theme menu, so I definitely pull together, when I'm doing major viewing things, I try to pull together theme parties.
Yeah.
But mostly, I have to tell you, I'm on Twitter. I like to be in the fandom when I'm watching something that's an event like that. Even if it's just
you do the live tweeting.
I do the live tweeting.
You do crush a live tweet.
I
Dave.
love a live tweet, honestly. I think it's so much fun to see like what the pulse of everyone is, and even like get into debates about things as they're happening. And sometimes it's good for a show that's a little bit slower to really be in the conversation.
Yeah,
and
now,
have the time for it.
as a super fan, Brianna, I want to ask you, what could happen in the final season that would totally devastate you? Is there anything that could actually devastate you?
Oh, the death of Arya would really hurt me.
I was thinking about that. I don't think they could do that to us, right?
I think that would be the death that she has to live.
I know.
She has to live.
I mean, I feel like she has
Or
to live and
Sansa,
Jon
too.
Snow has to live. Like,
Yeah.
they
No,
already
I don't
tried
know that
to
I think
kill-
Jon Snow has to live.
Really? I feel like they already tried to kill him
I mean, he
before.
already
They
died
can't
once,
kill him
so,
again.
like-
Been there, done that.
Who's your pick to take the Iron Throne?
Oh, I don't know. People keep asking me that. I love Sansa so much, and I think she would be phenomenal. But my overarching theory is that Jon Snow will die, and Daenerys will become a little bit less of a tyrannical leader, because she is definitely starting to go in that direction in Jon's honor.
All right.
I like that. I concede. Anything
Yeah, I
that
can see. Like, I can't even debate that because I feel like it's pretty good.
It's a really good theory.
We'll have to.
It's a really
We'll have
good
to
theory.
see. In case any of you out there can't choose who should take the Iron Throne, there's also Game of Thrones Monopoly, so you can play for the Iron Throne yourself. That's kind of fun. I mean, there's a lot of themed monopolies. I know. Growing up, I had Survivor Monopoly.
Did you
Of course
really?
you
That
did.
makes sense because then I went on to play Survivor. So there's actually a Game of Thrones Monopoly.
Wow, that's
Yeah, I played Harry Potter Monopoly, so I think it's cool that they're kind of getting in on that bandwagon.
That's great.
All right.
And you can play it with your Game of Thrones Oreos.
Yeah, and while you're strumming your Game of Thrones guitar that was announced this morning.
It's literally
really?
everything.
Yeah,
Nice.
Fender is teaming with Game of Thrones.
Getting out
Everyone
of
is jumping on
hand
this
here.
panel.
All right, you guys, now take a look at this. That's a clip from Andy Grammer's latest song, Don't Give Up on Me. It's from the tear-jerking movie 5 Feet Apart, starring Cole Sprouse and Haley Lou Richardson. It's absolutely perfect for the film, but how did he get the song onto the movie's soundtrack? Jeremy and McCo found out. Take a look.
You know, one of my best friends, Justin Baldoni, is the director of this movie, and he's a dear friend of mine. And he texted me saying, I got this movie, I was out on tour, can you watch it and see if you got any songs for it? And I had just that week before written this song called Don't Give Up on Me. And the story is about two people that have this disease called cystic fibrosis, and they're not allowed to touch, so they're not allowed to be near each other, but they fall in love still. And so the song fits perfectly.
It sure does. Now, a man of many talents, Andy not only sings, but also runs a very successful podcast called The Good Parts. He's interviewed all kinds of celebrities, from Tori Kelly to Imagine Dragons, and he likes to ask some pretty deep questions. So here's what Andy had to say about why he started the podcast in the first place.
I'm like a pretty spiritual guy, and I think that there's a lot of questions that don't get brought up enough in like short interviews. And I'm the type of guy that loves to get to dinner with friends and then throw out a question like, what do you think happens when we die? It's so much more interesting to me than anything else. And I'm like near all these awesome people that I find inspiring backstage, or I'm like passing them. And it's like weird to do that just as you're passing. So to set up an hour and get in with people and go like, so what do you think
talk about the
happens
deep
here?
stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
the deep stuff.
I like the deep stuff. By now you know that Andy is energetic and hilarious, which is why he had to play a little game Jeremy and McCo made up called Totally Would or Honey, I'm Good. I see what they did there. Watch.
So what's going to happen is you're going to spin this wheel right here and land on a few scenarios. If you're
Okay.
down for the situation, you would say totally would. If it's a nah, you'd say, honey, I'm good.
Okay.
You got it?
Here we go.
Okay, here we go. The suspense.
Wear socks and sandals. I feel like my wife just made fun of me. I did that. Yeah. Totally would.
And won't do it again.
Oh yeah. Not wash your hair for a week.
Oh.
No, I usually wash my hair.
All right, let's go for the next one. go on Dance.
Oh man, that was so hard.
Was it? Was it really? Everyone says that. I'm always sort of surprised at how hard it is for people.
By far the hardest thing I've ever done.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe.
What's the answer? Is
So maybe you're good.
I think I'm good for now.
Okay. Binge watch The Bachelorette. Are you into
Are you
this
into
stuff?
it?
Honey, I'm good.
I love it. All right, be sure to take a listen to Don't Give Up on Me now and keep your eyes out for a new album and tour from Andy coming this summer. Superstore star Lauren Ash stopped by last week to give us the inside scoop on her character Dina, but we wanted to get to know Lauren a little more, and what better way than to throw a little competition in the mix. Take a look.
Going down on the first one.
Can you imagine?
I can't imagine it.
Oh my goodness! Cats or dogs?
Oh, both. I can't choose. I have both.
I'm gonna go right there.
Favorite ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip, I think.
Me too.
Right?
Ooh.
You guys, these are sliding out like
I'm sorry, I just
All
did
right.
the old touch.
Most embarrassing moment as an actress.
My second day ever shooting Super Fun Night, I bent over and tore my pants. So I had to shoot the rest of the scene in the pants with the wind just...
What's something you're most proud of?
You know what? I took my cat and my dog to the vet for a checkup, and the vet said to me, "You take such good care of these animals, I can tell they're in such good health." And I was like, that's the biggest compliment.
Be afraid to take my cats in. What they say. I mean, I'm very nice.
Listen, my dog also recently
Right.
ate 4 chocolate chip cookies, so
right.
I'm not a perfect mother.
What superpower would you want?
Truthfully, probably invisibility.
Why?
The ability to just disappear, but also always listen.
I think that would
Little spy.
Biggest pet peeve.
When people eat and then they like lick their fingers, so it's like that sound.
Yeah.
Biggest pet peeve.
Or just made a little
Oh, I
smack
hate it. I
noise.
hate it.
Need a risk taker. There you go.
Whoa. Okay.
What is your definition of success?
When I got to write an episode of Superstore last season, I wrote an episode called Gender Reveal. That was like truly a moment where I was like, man, I'm doing some cool stuff.
Yeah. What is your spirit animal?
The puffin.
Not even a split second needed.
You could look online, there's pictures where it looks like they're dancing. And
Oh,
I'm like,
I like that, yeah.
I feel like the puffin just gets me.
Go-to cocktail.
Prosecco. I know that's not a cocktail, but like, I'm somebody that can literally drink Prosecco forever and feel fine. Okay. Most people are like, I drink one and I get a headache. And I'm like, drink one bottle?
Oh, mama.
I got real cocky there for a second.
Are you a morning person or a night owl?
You know what? By nature, I'm definitely a night owl, but my job forces me to be a morning person.
Biggest deal breaker in a relationship?
Cannibalism, probably.
Cannibalism is up there. Yeah, you know what it is? It's an inability to accept mess. Because I'm not a dirty person, but I'm a messy person.
Yeah.
And people who like get really like aggro about it, it's tough.
Out of questions, so we're gonna do a speed round.
Yeah, let's go.
Beep, 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 beep.
Oh.
If I mess.
Oh,
I always lose Jenga. It's so disappointing. All right, guys, we are super excited because Dax Shepard is back on TV tonight with his new ABC comedy, Bless This Mess. He stars opposite Lake Bell, who co-created the show. They play a couple who inherit a farmhouse in Nebraska and decide to uproot their New York City lives to start fresh in the country. This is like the opposite of my life. And of course, neither of these city slickers know anything about running a farm. As you can imagine, it's going to be pretty hilarious watching them learn how to live off the grid. I'm getting Green Acres vibes here. We got a little sneak peek for you. Take a look.
We have a hole in the roof still, and the storm is coming, and the soil is dead. You know, I'm kind of like, doom.
Spinning a little bit?
I am spinning a bit, yeah.
Okay, listen, we're gonna be fine.
Well, how do you know that, really, though?
I just know.
Yeah, but you can't just know. I mean, it's not possible to just...
Okay, are we fighting?
No, we're not fighting.
Great. Great. That's
Yeah.
great. That's all we need to do.
Mike.
Watch out.
Why would you broke the hammer? Why?
Because I'm strong, Rio. I'm stronger than I look.
This looks amazing. What do you guys make of this new show?
I actually saw the pilot. I really, really liked it.
Yeah?
I thought it was really funny. The first episode was great.
How would you do if you were in a situation where you had to go on a farmhouse in Nebraska?
Oh, it would be a hot mess. Yeah, it would be bad.
Well, it's so funny to me because I grew up on a farm, so like adjusting to the city life is super stressful and hard, but like the farm stuff's like easy. Farm girl. What would be the hardest part about living on a farm?
Do they have seamless on the farm?
No, no
think so.
seamless. You have to go out to the barn.
No, yeah.
Yeah,
Hard pass
no.
on the farm. I'm a city boy for sure. sure. But I really love the show. It's so great to see Dax doing comedy again.
Yes.
Because like for me, I really fell in love with him in Parenthood when he was in such a dramatic role. But he's like back here doing, you know, a good comedy, and he's really, really funny.
Wait, what's the most farm-esque thing you guys have ever done? Like, have you milked a cow?
No.
I have not milked a cow.
Have you?
But I have
you rode a horse?
Oh, many a time I've rode a horse.
I've never
I
done
have
that.
tapped a maple tree, and
Oh, you've tapped a maple tree. Nice.
I'm from Ohio.
Okay.
I'm not a total city
you've lived-
slicker.
Hey, between the two of you, who'd do better on a farm?
Oh,
Me.
you for sure. You already know more. I've never been in really even gone to a petting zoo. I'm like not into any of that
I'm inspired for a new segment. We're going to the farm.
No,
We're gonna see how you guys do.
Really out of. I mean, like when we go like pumpkin picking or anything like that, I don't even want to do that. I go to the bodega.
That's like so easy. Pumpkin picking?
Absolutely not. No, too much nature for me.
I think it's funny just because I grew up on the farm, so it's hilarious to see city people try to do that world.
I know.
All right, it looks like a really good show though. Let's take one last look at our people poll. We've been asking when you think Harry and Meghan will have their royal baby. See what you guys think. End of April seems to be the consensus there. What do you guys think of the fact that they're not going to pose on the hospital steps. They're going to do a photo, but they're not going to make it this big of thing that they did with Kate Middleton.
I mean, I think it's kind of cool that they're bucking with tradition here, right? I like the fact that they're just like, we're going to do it our way, and that's the way it's going to be.
Yep, this isn't the first time they've bucked tradition, and it won't be the last.
Yeah, and you guys predict a lot. We've really been predicting a lot of babies on the show, but do you think they're going to have a big family, maybe one and done?
I think she is probably not going to have a giant family.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think that either. But what I like about them is that they're being really practical about it. I think that sometimes when you come out and pose and everybody looks so perfect, it gives women this feeling that they need to aspire to have that quick of a recovery and be that ready, and like it sets expectations that I think are very hard for people to.
Yes, I always have felt sad for Kate that like she doesn't get any time to recover.
Yeah.
All of a sudden, like she pops out the baby, and then there's like a team of people putting doing hair and makeup.
So I
don't love getting hair and makeup on a normal day.
Either way, I know it's gonna be a super cute baby. Very excited to see the pictures. All right, we'll be back with another question of the day tomorrow. Tune in for that. A big thanks to Bran Heldman and Dave Quinn for joining me today. Great to get your thoughts on all the trending topics. Coming up tomorrow, you know her from Two Broke Girls and The Neighborhood. Beth Bears will be here. Very excited for that. Plus, Boris Kodjoe is giving us the scoop on season 2 of his Shondaland show, Station 19. It's gonna be good. Thanks for watching. For now, we leave you with one last thing from Melissa Joan Hart. Bye, guys.
Hey, this is Melissa Joan Hart, and this is One Last Thing. The last song I listened to was probably Billy Joel's Pressure, one of my favorite songs. My last big splurge was these shoes. My friends were with me shopping, and that's always a bad idea when your girlfriends convince you have to have those shoes. The last time my kids made me laugh really hard was, well, this morning my son showed me a picture he drew yesterday in school of a girl he married, apparently, in kindergarten.